Oh, I think it's working. Okay, you guys ready?
We're ready.
Only 10 minutes behind.
Hey, it's fine.
Okay. Oh, yay! Okay, you guys ready? Okay. All right, so let me. All right, so good evening. Have your cake and eat it too group. I am Tiffany Ware, and I have. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, hold on 1 second. Only 10 minutes. I have Christina and her lovely husband joining me on live tonight. I apologize that it has taken a while to come on live, but we had some technical difficulties. But here we are, we're ready to go. So welcome, Christina. If you would like to introduce yourself and your husband to the group.
Sure, I'm Christina. This is my husband, Grant. We were married in December of 2019, so kind of still newlyweds.
Awesome.
And that's about it. That's our exciting life.
Awesome. So we are going to be chatting with Christina about why she decided to join the Academy, what her path has looked like so far, and then her awesome husband has agreed to join us because there has been some husbands wanting to chat with other husbands. So let's take advantage of having him here. So if you guys have your husbands listening in, please drop your questions that you may have for Christina and Grant in the comments below. And if you have any questions at all, we would love to answer them for you. We like these to be very interactive. We want to be able to answer your questions about the Academy. I want you guys to be able to answer or to ask Christina and her husband questions. So please post them and we will get started. Awesome. So Christina, the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your experience prior to joining the Academy?
So prior to joining the Academy, I actually took like accounting back in high school, so it meant nothing really. I think accounting 1 and 2. And then when I got out of high school, I was in banking a little bit, but it wasn't even in an accounting like capacity. So I was a teller, and then I went to a personal banker, and then I left banking to get into finance and was a collection manager for a payday loan company. So that's literally my financial background. And I ended up leaving finance or the payday loan business because of them revamping all of the predatory lending with the mortgage collapse that happened back in 2009, somewhere around there, 8 or 9. And I became a police officer. So I was in law enforcement for the last 11 years and decided to leave law enforcement in December.
Awesome. That is super exciting. So you have a little bit of background in accounting, bookkeeping, but you haven't done it for 11 years. So awesome. So when did you first hear about the Bookkeeper Academy, and what made you decide to invest in the Academy?
So I think what ended up bringing up the Academy in my Facebook for me to click on, honestly, I think is how that happened, was when I left the police force in December, I had no direction, no plan, no nothing. And I was trying to figure out what's my next path? Like, what's my next venture? I think it was June of last year of 2020. I actually paid for in cash real estate classes. and was thinking of trying to get a second revenue stream anyways before I ended up leaving the department. So we were looking at and had kind of tossed between ourselves a couple of business ideas and what we wanted to do in case something happened, or in case we decided we needed to, you know, say we'd had enough of that kind of life with law enforcement. I was looking on, I think it was flexjobs.com, and I believe I actually paid for a year's worth of membership there because I was looking for a job potentially for stay at home. And Flex Jobs is one of those things. It's kind of like, what's one of those like job search sites?
Like Indeed or something like that?
Yeah, like Indeed.com, but it's made for like stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home jobs, and they vet the people so that you're not getting like these fraudulent, like stay at home and invest this. And I think because I had clicked on a couple of bookkeeping or accounts payable jobs, it maybe triggered an ad, and the stay at home bookkeeper course had popped up. So into Facebook.
Awesome.
Yeah, we chatted about it, and I think, and honestly, I didn't even tell him about it, like probably for the first 2 or 3 weeks I was considering it, because I just didn't want to go to him and ask for the money that was in our savings account to invest in the course. And I almost passed up the opportunity. So.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, huh?
Right.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have several people joining. It says we have 23 people. So hello, Mandy and Eileen and Ashley, Shireen, Chelsea, Sue, Nancy, Miranda, Anne, and Rosa are all joining us already. So if any of you awesome people that are tuning in have questions that you would like to ask Christina or her husband Grant while we're on this live, please drop your questions below. Christina, like I said at the beginning, is going to share more about her journey with joining the Academy, what it looks like for her, and that sort of thing. Awesome. So when did you decide, you said you were kind of hesitant to ask your husband for the money in your savings. So what made you guys decide that having your own bookkeeping business was the perfect plan for you guys?
So we actually had, I hadn't talked to him about it really, and we were at a friend's house who I used to work with on the department, who left and started his own business. And just a couple of the questions he posed to me about, what's your fear? What you're so concerned about losing, what a small investment of money that you can get back if for some reason it doesn't work. But like, look at the look at the risk you took every day, like as a police officer, and you had no worries about putting your life on the line, but you're worried about $8,000 or whatever your investment is. And when I looked at it that way, like, wow, like I put more value on $8,000 than I did my own life, and was more worried about that risk. It was like, ooh, how do you argue that? Like, and so when we got in the car, I think my husband was actually really upset with me because I hadn't talked to him about it at all. He actually was really, really upset. He's like, this is what a marriage is. We're supposed to talk about these things. I didn't even know you wanted to possibly do this. And so he was actually more disappointed that I hadn't brought it to him than I was thinking he'd be like, no, we absolutely can't invest in something like that. So,
well, before that, she was going to go to nursing school. So there was a year accelerated course, whatever, that would cost more money.
mm-hmm.
And then, so that's a year that we have to pay out. And then you finally maybe get a job as long as people are hiring. Where then when she brought this to my attention, it was kind of a win-win. Yeah, you still have to make the investment, but you start working for yourself day one, and you can start making your investment back day one.
I think the deciding factor too was not, well, first off, what our friend had really posed to us, but it was more so when I had already looked at a couple of the student testimonials that were on Tiffany's page. So I had already watched like one of so many that are on there. And I ended up coming home that night and like we pulled it up. Like we pulled up the testimonials and I made him watch two. Anne Linderman's was one of them. And I can't recall the other person's name, but I know that she's a mentor in the group now. And so it was really funny because he's like, so why wouldn't you have told me about this?
Yeah, well, and that was a really good analogy that your friend did. You're willing to risk your life for other people, and not think twice about it any day, but you were apprehensive to spend an investment on yourself and your business to better your guys' future, and to have your own business and the flexibility. So what a great friend you guys have. That's awesome. So that was kind of your deciding factor and the reason that kind of opened your eyes to do this. So when did you finally decide to pull the trigger and invest into the Bookkeeper Academy?
So it was funny because I had actually talked with one of the sales individuals, Eileen, when I was getting the information to actually bring it to him, which then I didn't for like 2 more weeks. And I had actually talked with the financing company as well. And I already knew like what the payment would be and like how many clients I would need in order to make that payment per month and not have a loss. And still didn't even take it to my husband as an option. So when we discussed it, it was like New Year's Eve essentially, and Tiffany's program was going up in a few hours. So I went in and enrolled in the academy. And since that was a weekend, the way the holidays fell, I didn't end up getting like access to the academy until that Monday, which was the 4th of January. But I paid for it like really right at the end of the year. So it was kind of a New Year's resolution. And that's when I invested.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so you made a great choice. It has been so fun having you in the academy and watching you grow so far. So you launched in January. How many clients do you currently have, and where are you at right now in your business?
Sure. We got access. I got access on January 4th, and I didn't actually officially even launch my business until January 18th. So I took a couple of weeks to try to really just get everything in place. It was more for my comfort. It's definitely not even the way Tiffany teaches it. She says start marketing right away, and who knows where I could even been had I done that. But for kind of that back history that I went through, I wanted to make sure all of my ducks were in a line so that, people weren't like, where'd this come from? And I wanted to be taken very seriously. And so I announced that I would be opening on January 16th. So I didn't even do like the pre-marketing, which who knows where your business could be if I had done that.
Right.
And we launched on the 18th. So since January 18th to today, which is not even a full 4 months, I have 11 current monthly clients that we bill out every single month, that we have done cleanup jobs for each one. And I have one client that I do just sales tax filing for. So it's not a big bill per month, but it's still another client. So technically totally 12 clients.
Wow, that is awesome. So you have 12 clients and you have only not even been in business for 4 months, and you didn't even start marketing before you felt comfortable doing it. Like we do suggest, as Christina mentioned, and I know it sounds crazy that we suggest, when you do decide that investing and having a bookkeeping business is right for you, we do suggest that you start marketing. And people are always like, oh, I can't do that yet. I don't know what I'm doing. And it is definitely, it gets those clients, coming in and getting your name out there so people know what you're doing. So it is awesome to see how many clients you've had in such a short amount of time. So what can you give kind of a lowdown? So all of those 12 clients besides one, so 11 of those clients are reoccurring clients. Can you give everyone just kind of a gist of what your general day looks like throughout working with them?
Sure. My husband likes to make jokes about this. So He says I'm the face of the business and he's the workhorse of the business. He actually still has his full-time job for now. And our goal is to potentially get him out of where he's at currently and maybe grow our business to where we are both working it regularly. And even then he still says I'm still the face and he's just the work. As long as I deal with the people, he'll do all the work, which is not really how it happens, but he likes to tell people it is. So when his side comes up, you'll get that. But in the mornings, I don't really have as much of a structured schedule as I would like, and I'm trying to work towards that. And those are some of my business goals. I currently tend to try to do a lot of the business growth, as in professional growth, in the mornings. I am not a mom, so I have that luxury at this time, but potentially we hopefully maybe can grow our family in the next year or so. And that was another thing that we had considered as well. But I get up and I kind of do a lot of my business coaching, or I will do additional education or trying to find resources, things that will help my business grow, and we'll do a little bit of my sporadic marketing. I think the coolest thing about this is you can really run your business how you want, and everybody does their own approach that works for them. And Tiffany really just gives you all of the tools to take it whichever pathway you want. So I was blessed that I didn't necessarily do a ton of like cold call outreach marketing with my business. So I tend to nurture relationships I already have, or kind of slowly build on relationships, because that's just where I find comfort and I find growth and comfort. So I do a lot of the personal development in the mornings, and then I will do a lot of my client meetings or networking and marketing towards the afternoon. And then also working on some of the work that I have to do for my clients. So it isn't even a full day of work, honestly, if I'm just sitting down to do the work for the clients. And my husband generally will do the daily work for the 11 clients we have on his lunch break.
Wow.
So it's kind of unique because I'm always out there looking for the next way to grow. And then, but I mean, is it an hour or 45 minutes your lunch?
Half an hour.
He has a half an hour for lunch. So he's able to do our 11 clients, most of their work. I would say probably 80% of the work in his half an hour lunch break, to just to keep up, so I can keep trying to get new stuff in.
Wow. That's awesome. Less than 30 minutes or 30 minutes a day for 11 clients that that they both are able to work on 11 clients work. That's awesome. And yeah, I could definitely see you guys. I love that he says you're the face and he's the workforce. I can definitely see you guys in the mastermind and becoming a team, and him being able to quit his job when he's ready. And you both are ready for that. And I know that's been some talk amongst you guys. So that is super exciting. So Juanita asked, can you talk about, I just lost it. Can you talk about what you did and how you started marketing? So you did say that you spend a chunk of time in the morning before you kind of start your day marketing. So I will let you share that, and then I will give kind of my mom tip on what I do to market or have marketed in the past.
Sure. So kind of how I started marketing, it was really just a blessing. I honestly say, like, you'll find the clients that know your value because Tiffany teaches you the value of what you're giving them. And so you kind of find your sweet spot of finding clients that know your value without having to chase and convince down new clients, which I think is part of, honestly, what one of the biggest legs up is with this academy. So my first client came to me because I wanted to get professional headshots done. And so when I was calling for headshots, my husband had worked with him, the person who did my headshots, and he needed bookkeeping services. So we ended up exchanging services, and I probably did lose out on income. I could have billed him for a lot more than what his bill would have been to me, but it was a really great foot in the door to get that first client, feel that confidence build and that kind of thing. And
initially it was a trade of services, and he was not planning to be a monthly client. It was kind of a do the cleanup work and then teach me how to do it so I can do it in the future, which is still a great experience because we didn't have to pay for headshots, which are actually very expensive. And
with him they are.
Yeah.
Not with everybody, but
and then it also got great experience with the first client with actually somebody else, not just doing your own, home bookkeeping to try and get practice. You have somebody that you don't know that you have to go back to and ask questions and do the actual work with.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of fell in line, and he was planning like, oh yeah, for a couple months you can teach me, kind of get it set up. And then it turned from I will never do this again to I would cut other expenses in my business to keep you because you're the best money I spend in my business. And so that's kind of where I kind of grew my base of how I wanted to do my customer, like how I wanted my clients to feel. And I try to make sure every client feels like they could not live without me. And I feel like Tiffany's Academy gave me those skills because I have such a huge network that I can go back and it looks like I have done this for years. And I think it was about 2 months after having my first client that he came and he said, so was I your first client? He didn't even know. He did not even know he was my first client. So like he didn't know and never would have guessed because of how she really just set up the training for us. So that first client referred me to a second and a third. And then my second client referred me to another client. And then her husband owns businesses. So I was able to pick up 2 of businesses with my second client, and they still have 2 more. That's my goal. I'm going to have all 4. Eventually I will have all 4 of their businesses. And it just takes that time, but knowing that I will get there because maybe her husband runs 3 of the 4 that they own and he doesn't want to spend the money, but now he's starting to see the value. So now he'll give a little more, like, okay, here's a little more, rope.
Yeah.
And that's kind of really just how it works, that snowball effect. So I haven't really had to do a ton of outreach marketing. Now I did try to do a little research on social media and how their what is it called whenever they have their algorithms. So I wanted to try to kind of trip up those algorithms and make sure people that were already in my network saw stuff. So I did a few things there, and I actually have an active list of my Facebook people, and I go through and I try to hit people I haven't not hit, but comment or engage with people I haven't seen anything on my timeline with, because I know they're not seeing my business stuff either. So that's kind of tripping up that algorithm to let them know. And then I have friends on my Facebook that have businesses. So it's, starting to catch on. I'm coming up on 4 months. Today I had a discovery call for someone who's been on my Facebook for years, and he finally messaged me and just said, tell me about your bookkeeping services. And he owns a business that is $500,000 of revenue a year. And so it would be a really good sized client. And so I'm going to be sending out a proposal for that.
Yay. I'm glad to hear that discovery call went so well. Yeah. And like you said, bartering is a good way, especially if you're getting your first client. Headshots are great. A family member that you kind of, want to work on their books, but aren't comfortable charging them or that sort of thing. Bartering services. I see that posted in a lot of the group sometimes that, you can have someone that cleans houses, you can barter services with doing their books, and look where it got you. You were going to teach him, which is also what a lot of people do. Business owners think that just teach me and I'll do it myself, and then you teach them. We have some people in our group right now that are putting together different QuickBooks courses to help those learn how to do their own books. But then they soon realize that they don't have the time to be doing them. So they're going to use you and your services to do that. And look at you, you get one client and then it just keeps on a snowballing. So that is awesome.
And I'll say out of the 11 clients, the reoccurring monthly bookkeeping clients we have, out of those 11 clients, the first one, obviously we gained because of bartering and my husband having known him. And then my like 10th client I think that I signed on was the only client that was not a referral. Like every client, it's so like 96% of my business has been built on organic, like referral growth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. People think marketing, and a lot of people just automatically think you have to go out there and be salesy. But there are 150,000 businesses opening up in the US per year. And it's not like MLMs or other businesses like that. You're not selling yourself. Every business needs a bookkeeper, and so those that know the value are going to use you for your services. So that is super awesome. And yeah, marketing is, you have to find what works for you and your business. Like you said, you do a lot of organic marketing. A lot of it has come with word of mouth. So some like to go in Facebook groups and add content, add value, reply to people's messages. It doesn't always have to be about services that you offer. It can be funny posts, business type of tips, bookkeeping tips, just getting your name out there so people start knowing who you are and what you offer. And yeah, and then word of mouth is the biggest one, because people are going to start referring you. And another one that we really like to recommend is on your Facebook profile, you can create a life event. And so these will get people, like Christina was saying, she had friends on her profile that didn't even know she had a bookkeeping business. She had chatted with them. How many people do we have on our Facebook friends list that we never interact with? That could be potentially, people that we need to barter services with or need a bookkeeper. So creating that life event is great too, to get yourself out there and let people know what you're doing. So Anne asked, what was your most successful way of marketing? I think you kind of answered that one with what you responded. And if you need some more marketing tips, we would be glad to answer those. And Andrea said, where did you find most of your clients?
So yeah, like I was saying, most of my clients have come from referrals, which really it just is me trying to take that first client and put everything Tiffany taught into it. And then also like adding what makes me different or what sets me aside from every person, because every single person has their strength or what makes them different or what sets them aside. What is going to make somebody go and tell everybody about why they should get me as their bookkeeper versus, not having one. And so just trying to like come into that own like realization for myself and see how I wanted to run my business and kind of set that up. So that time, just taking that time instead of putting all the pressure, that outward pressure on sales and outward pressure of the money, and I have to do this and I have to make this, that taking that outward pressure off of me and just trying to focus on the honestly like giving amazing service to your client, which is literally the title of one of Tiffany's courses, has really allowed that like freedom, that pressure off of me to be like more open about not having that needy feeling like I have to get this client, because I know what she's teaching us was so valuable that I could grow from there. So I think it just really organically happened. And yeah, there's a couple of other resources that I could use for finding new clients. And I haven't honestly, it sounds really terrible, but I haven't honestly even been able to put that in place. I haven't had time to put that in place because I haven't had a lull or lag in new clients yet, or where I'm just like, okay, I've got my 11 done and now I don't have anything to do. Like we had a big influx. I think it was January, we had our first client on literally the 18th. So on opening day. And then I had my second client, which was a referral by February 6th. And then my first client referred a second client to me, or my third technically, but his second referral on March 2nd. So going into March, I have 2 clients. That's it. So if I had let this like, oh my gosh, I have 2 clients, this is failing, like if I had let that get in, I would never be where I am now. So, and I think that's also part of the academy, is that support, in that, you know, we help each other. Like, okay, how are you doing this? A few of the other girls within the course, like Chelsea, was telling me some of her marketing techniques, and it's not really something I feel like I love. Like, I want to build my business off of mostly referrals. Not a lot of businesses can say that. And so I listened to how she did it, and I created a plan and created a marketing plan that I never actually even got to put in place. So if I see a law, I can't wait to try some of the things that Chelsea's taught, you know, or talked about working for her, because it might just open up a whole nother door that I haven't even had time to crack yet, honestly.
Right.
And so going into March, we had 2 clients before March started. And then March 12th, I brought on my 3rd. And then literally from March 12th to April 20th is when we added the other, you know, what you're talking 9 clients. So yeah, we added 9 since March 12th. Or yeah, so.
That is awesome. So Andrea asked, are most of your clients local to you?
So not at all. My first client is, because obviously I went and got my headshots done. My second one is in Cincinnati. My third client is like an hour away north of me, probably closer to 2 hours north of me. My fourth client is in Arizona, and I live in Ohio, so very far. My fifth client is my second client's husband. And then my sixth client is in Arizona, and he has a photography studio in Arizona and LA. So he's in 2 states. I have clients in Florida and Texas as well. So I have 4 states other than Ohio. So
Wow. Yeah.
it's definitely doable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like she said, the snowball effect keeps coming, and word of mouth referral is going to be great. So a lot of people are concerned that if they live in a really small town, or, you know, they feel that there's a lot of bookkeepers already in your area, that they're going to struggle with finding clients. And as you can tell by Christina, that is the furthest thing from the truth. You don't need clients that are local to you, because we teach you how to become a virtual bookkeeper. So everything that we're going to teach you is done via online. So you don't have to. Some are great in your area, because like Christina said, that first one has gotten her majority of her other ones. So that's great to market in your area, but don't feel like you're not going to be able to be successful if you live in a small town. Chelsea said, get those referrals. They are great. I got past a few recently, and it's great.
And when you're marketing, you might want to mention that it's all virtual,
Yes.
because she had a friend on Facebook who, because of her, bookkeeping posts, realized she needed a bookkeeper. But because she lived in New York and we live in Ohio, she went and found her own bookkeeper, because she did not know that it was all virtual, and she could have,
Another client. Yeah. So I have a friend from high school who moved to Brooklyn, and she's a realtor, and she literally sells condos and apartments, and for millions of dollars per condo or apartment. So she would have been a huge client to have. And she said that she just was really just trying to do everything herself. And with my posts, like she had searched for my business phone number off of Google, because she had made a comment on a social media post I did. That's literally the marketing I do. I have not paid for ads. I haven't done any of that in there. And I'm only on 2 social media sites. So Facebook and Instagram. My long-term goals are, I want to start engaging on LinkedIn, and then maybe a couple others. So apparently from my posts, she felt my marketing was super strong, which it's not really much of anything. I was just making sure I was, trying to post something. I was wondering if it was even working. And she called my phone, my work phone, to tell me that she just really wanted just to give me a compliment, like one woman to another woman, that, my marketing was so amazing, and she's seeing it, and she can definitely see how this is going to be amazing. And that she had made an appointment with her CPA to add on bookkeeping services because she realized that with some of the tips and tricks or the, you know, the Friday funnies that I post, like this is something I probably should have in my business so that it saves me in the long run. And I said, well, I just hope, you know, and it's just that positivity, because I may not have gotten her now, but maybe in a year I'll have her anyways. You never
Yeah.
know. And so that's kind of that attitude I try to take with it, because I just told her, like, you know, ultimately you just need this for your business anyways, regardless of who's doing it, as long as they're doing it correctly. Like, it's showing that there's more than enough business out there for every bookkeeper. And I'm not like, my feelings aren't hurt because she didn't end up going with me. So she made this appointment with her CPA. He's doing her bookkeeping, but she didn't have that before. And so potentially, like, as she's dealing in business, she could still be referring me out, even though
Yeah.
maybe I'm not doing her books, or maybe I end up doing them in a year. You never know, because she had
Absolutely.
said, if I had only known you were virtual, I would have just called you to begin with. And so it is what it is. And it was a lesson. So I
Yeah.
celebrate the lesson that I learned.
Right, exactly. And I love that point. You know, you might not be doing her books right now, but it doesn't mean that she's not referring you to people. And her CPA could really soon be bombarded, you know, and need to pass off her bookkeeping work like most CPAs do. The reason why we talk about partnering with CPAs in the marketing course. So that is very important. So just because you don't have her now doesn't mean you don't have her in the future. Um, Rachel asked, do you have a niche?
So I say yes and no. So I would love to like just have a full on niche of photography. I love my photography clients. And I do feel that at some point, like, my client list will be more heavy on the photography side. It was not intentional. It just kind of happened as a blessing for me. I actually was looking for more real estate clients, keeping in mind that I definitely had that, you know, real estate class I invested in, you know, almost a year ago at this point now. But so it's always been something that's been of interest to me. But the way that it just kind of naturally fell, I started pulling in a couple of photographers and decided, like, I should probably market more towards photographers. I haven't yet because I haven't really had time to market, honestly. But if I could, you know, have more photography clients, I would love to, because I feel like it does give value to say, like, hey, I really value my photography clients. So I have four photography clients. I have one insurance brokerage. I have one realtor brokerage. I have a vacation rental company. They have 3 vacation rentals in Florida. And I have a furniture flipper. So she does like old furniture from the flea market and then refinishes it. I have a traveling bartender. So she does bartending services. And I now have a cabinet maker as a client. So
Awesome. So you have a wide variety. So, and that's exactly kind of what we recommend in the courses is, and that's a really popular question that we get is like, should we have a niche? And we always say no, because one, if you niche down at the beginning, that could really limit you. I mean, so think to you, Christina, if you would have niched down to just photography clients, look how many clients you would be missing out on 9 clients that wouldn't be getting your services right now because you only focused on photographers. So that is why we say that you enjoy working with photographers, so you will go after more of those clients, but also not to niche down because it can be very limiting, and you could really enjoy, you know, your background too is in realtors and that sort of thing. So you wanted to work with them because you know that. So yeah, I love that. That's a great answer. Juanita says, where are you in Ohio? I'm from Cleveland.
I'm in the good old Canton. So about an hour and 20 minutes south of you.
Okay. And Rachel asks, does the Academy teach you how to find your niche? Do you want to answer that one or do you want me to?
I think that she touched on the fact that, like, if you do find a niche, these are the benefits of it. but it
Right.
doesn't really like say like you should go find yourself a niche. Like,
Yeah.
Tiffany just said, it would limit you. And I guess I also have a marketing lady in here that I actually don't even use her marketing services. So potentially later I could use her marketing services, but you like I didn't like look for a niche specifically. I was kind of looking more towards the real estate clients, because I know you can kind of bump their monthly up, and it just happened to be that then I ended up with really small micro businesses, and it worked well for me. And I think I have my in a really great community for that, so I have the ability to grow there. And so now I just kind of want a couple more ins and some other types of businesses.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I don't think it's been a while since I've gone through the courses, but I do know that we touch on it. But like I said, we don't suggest niching down, especially at the beginning, because it could be limiting and you could really find that you really love working with a different niche than the one you're going after. So I didn't ask you this prior to when we hopped on, so definitely don't feel obligated to answer this question. But Andrea asked, what is your monthly income with the 11 clients? If you guys are okay sharing, we would love to. So it gives kind of the ones watching a little taste of what they could have. But if not, we totally understand.
Sure. So our current monthly is at around $1,900. So if we did no cleanup work at all, and that's where I wanted to sit, I could make almost 23,000 in 1 year, just keeping it where it's at. That
Which after all the cleanups and everything, that's half an hour of work a day.
Yeah, which
Right.
how
Give
do
or
you
take.
how do you argue that for, what are you saying, 30 minutes times 5 days is 150 minutes a week, divided by 60 is 2.5 hours of work a week.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that in a year, it's 130 hours a year for 20 something $1,000. So you think about it and you're just like, man, like $1,900 is not a ton, but it's really a lot. Like if you think about the amount of, I could be working 130 hours in a year and making $22,000. So we definitely have aspirations to grow, and we will. And I think we looked at it that if nothing changed at all in 2021, then by December, so if I brought on no new clients at all and didn't lose any clients, then I would make around 26,000 by the end of the year so far for this year. And we're in line that with the current growth rate that I have, because I do have a lot of micro clients, so they are a little bit less than what the general monthly is, that like the base price, and I probably could raise a couple of them, and we've talked about that, and potentially 2 or 3 of our clients will be getting bumped come summertime in their billing. And I already know, like, the one that really stands out is my first client that probably needs bumped. He should be probably 297, and I only charge him 150 a month, but I have gotten 3 referrals from him, and out of those 3 referrals, one of those referrals has given me 2 more businesses. So I kind of weigh the value of it. Like if he keeps
Yeah.
referring, why would I bump him? So I could, but that's kind of my gratitude back to them. So
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot when you think, oh, only 1,900, but that's the best part about having a bookkeeping business. You're working 5 hours a week to make that. And if you wanted more revenue, you can obviously work a little bit more. So you can work as little or as much as you want to. And yeah, that's the best part, is that you set the tone for your business. Rachel asked, do you also do accounting and taxes or just the books currently?
so I apologize. My dog is going to need out, so he's going to step away for a minute, so that you don't have to listen to them barking. So I do not currently do taxes at all, and I just do their basic bookkeeping. So essentially a little bit of the accounting, because you're really doing a lot of that throughout the year for them, but I'm not a CPA or accountant, and I don't necessarily advise my clients, but I say, if it were my business, I would probably do it this way, and then they can make their own decisions. I would love to take some of the tax courses, but I still have zero desire. Even if I invest in it, I don't want to do taxes. I want to invest in it so that I have that knowledge to better guide my clients and be more valuable to them. So I have an amazing CPA that I've partnered with, and I try to refer as much as I can to her when it comes to taxes, and she wants nothing to do with the bookkeeping. So she is constantly looping me in on some emails and whatnot for her clients as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So Rachel said, thank you so much. That was so inspiring. I can't wait to start. Rachel, we would love to have you in the academy, and let us know if you have any questions before starting. I also wanted to backtrack a little bit. You said your first client had no clue that you had never done bookkeeping before and that you were his first client. So how do you feel that the academy helped you out with that?
I see this question a lot in this group, specifically for the Have Your Cake and Eat It, where it's like, could I do this without the academy? Absolutely. You could totally 100% do this without the academy, but I personally know, not that I just think, but I know I would not be where I'm at currently if it weren't for investing in myself and getting that full package of information that I can refer back to and use it as I need. Or, I think even some of the end of year stuff, I haven't had to use it yet. Like I've invested in the academy and I have watched it, but absolutely come December, I'm going to have to watch it again because I haven't even had to use it yet. So I already know that the value that I'm getting is even more greater than what
Right.
I've even used yet. So since I started in January, I haven't had that end of year, whatnot. When it came to like 1099s and all that jazz, I didn't have payroll clients at the time. So you absolutely could do it without the academy, but I don't feel I would even be halfway to where I'm at without joining the academy first. I do think
Yeah.
I think that, why would you, the way I looked at it was, why would I waste my time and, spending 2 years going this way when I can spend a little bit of money and have somebody who already did it this way show me how to do it this way, and just
Yeah,
launch. So
absolutely. I definitely agree. And thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you can absolutely do it by yourself by just doing the DIY courses, which is our bookkeeping course. But as you heard Christina say, she's only barely watched that, and she gets most of her help and her coaching via the Academy Facebook group. So you can definitely do it on your own. But yeah, if you have someone that's already laid out how to have a successful business and already has put all the steps into place, then why not? Awesome. Rachel is going through the loan process to join the academy. Awesome, Rachel. We cannot wait for you to join us. Mandy says, thank you both for sharing your story and inspiring us all. You've done a really good job of liking everyone's comments already half the time before I even read them. So way to go. Awesome. So why do you feel that the academy has helped you so much versus, you just going through and doing the courses?
go ahead. Did you have something?
So my sister, who lives in South Carolina, when we told her that you were starting a business, when we launched, she looked at it, she said, wow, it looks like you've been working on this for 2 years. It's about time you finally launched it. And I mean, we've gotten that compliment from a lot of people.
Wow.
And that's why we waited. We started in January, and then she didn't launch until mid-January because she wanted to make sure everything looked like it wasn't a
Last minute throw together.
Let's be a bookkeeper
yeah.
today. So,
yeah. Like, and
and
I think that Tiffany's program really helps with that. Like, it helps you learn what you need. And then if you don't know the answer, you absolutely have that mentorship to go to. And it does, like, I think I've been asked by 2 separate people if I bought a franchise Did you get
Wow.
a franchise? So people, it gives that appearance. Not that if someone asked, I would be honest. I've been asked by a couple clients, like, what's your experience? Or, like, how long have you done this? And I have never lied and said, oh, it's been years. I'm just honest about it, and I'm able to tell them. But I have a full network of CPAs and other bookkeepers, and I have resources that would cost you a fortune to go ask these questions. And it's the value you get with me is because I can save you that money and time by finding it out for you. And it might take me a day, but I have that capability. So I think it helps give you that confidence as well, not only the education and then the support that's ongoing, but it gives you that confidence. And honestly, like, I would never have known about some of the partnerships that you can get additional revenue streams from probably for another 2 years, or I would never have really thought about pairing with a CPA. And I know that Tiffany kind of talks about that in the Have Your Cake group. But there's a little more teachings on it when you join the academy. And then, there's just certain things that I never would have thought of that kind of have led to more income, or the ability to start seeing, like, as soon as, like, I was probably 2 clients deep, I was like, oh my gosh, I could do this and I could do this, and I can see how this could just build more revenue. And you just start seeing some of that, and just things that I would never have dreamt that you can charge for, or that you can have a kickback for with your partnership. I think I learned within that group and academy. And then there's always new things that we're learning because things change and platforms change, and everybody's always looking for the next best thing when it comes to their business, whether it's payment platforms or whatever the case is. Well, those evolving changes affect us too. And so now you have, like, a whole community you can ask about that from. So I do think it gives you more of a polished package, because of confidence, because of having, I do know that the current Have Your Cake group has the website. It's not necessary. I have one, not everybody in there does. It works for me. It made me feel more confident, and like it was a long-term plan instead of I just up and quit my job with no plan in place. So it looked like when I left my job, I had a plan, which I didn't. I had no direction. So I felt like that was part of why I delayed, announcing my launch until I did. And it just helped my confidence level, but somebody else might not need it that way. And so I do think it just gives you a full package, look. For somebody to think that I bought a franchised business isn't, like, that's insane to me when you sit back and you're just like, dang, how does this look from the outside then?
Yeah, that is awesome. Those are some great compliments that you have received. And it does, in the academy, Tiffany has laid out every single piece and step right for you and puts it into place exactly when and where you need to do it. And I agree with you too. I always say honesty is the best policy. And so when people, ask you what your experience is, you can say, oh, I'm actually just starting out, or I've been doing this for 4+ months, but I do have a CPA that I have partnered with, and I have a wonderful team of other bookkeepers and to ask questions and to guide me. But I will always find an answer for you, even if I don't know it now. So yeah, I love that. If you could pick, I'll give you 2 because one's kind of hard. If you could pick a few things, what is your favorite part of the academy?
Oh goodness. Honestly, I just think one of the biggest things is like the community within the academy. Like, it is. So I came from a man's world, right? I was a police officer. So I didn't love working with women, and I didn't like, I never had great experience with women when I was younger, like in some of the jobs that I had done. And then I went to this man's world, and they're worse than women. I think we talked about that one day on our mindset group. And like, this group is like 110% not even that. Everybody is so supportive of one another, and they're your cheerleaders. And when I had this big influx of clients all at one time, which we weren't really prepared for, but we took on the challenge, I was able to go within the community and ask, hey, I need a better plan for next time, because I'm confident this will happen again, that I will have an influx and I'm not going to be able to handle that. And, maybe that's, cocky, but I want to have that belief in my business at the same point that it's going to happen again. And I want to have a plan in place. So I was able to bring on like 4 girls from that group and have them ready at the go, and ask who's got time. I have work. Can I pay you to help me with my business? Because maybe they're having a slower time. Like I've gone since, April 20th without onboarding someone. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to do this again and start going out after it. And it's already coming in naturally. It's almost like, the energy was out there, so they knew. So just that support and having the friends within the group and having people you can trust or that you can vent to, that's been probably one of my favorite things. The other would be, I'm huge on the professional development, mindset, coaching kind of thing. Like I do think that's part of what helped put my business on the map. And so I would say the additional things like the money mindsets, the book groups that we do, the discussions, that kind of thing has been huge. Probably one of my next favorites in the business.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the sense of community is it's one of my favorites too, is that I can't say ladies because we do have some men in there, but the group becomes like your second family. And being a business owner can feel lonely at times because it's just you. And days like that, or days that you're struggling with mindset, or have a client that you don't know what to do and you need to ask questions, you have that Facebook group to ask questions and get nearly 24/7 help, and all of the other perks that are offered in there too. The Mindset Mondays, we've had some fabulous reviews on those. I've been trying to tune into those because we all struggle with mindset, and I think it's really important to work on your mindset. I have some really cool comments from those that have tuned into the mindset calls that I will be posting in this group in the next few days. So be sure to look out for those. And yeah, so we offer the Mindset Monday calls. And today, one of our student mentors, Robin, did a sales tax training in there for the members of the Academy. So there's always something being added on top of what is already given in the Academy. Amanda says, the Academy and team is priceless. These ladies are my tribe and push me to keep going. Tons of support, tons of help, and I could never have done this without them. The friendship is priceless. Yeah, and also like Christina said, I totally forgot until I just read her comment, is that Christina, has been taking on a lot, and sometimes her plate will get a little full. So she has offered for some of the students in the Academy to come and help her with any work that she wants to outsource. And that is also another perk of joining the Academy, is that our members that have full plates, they always go to the students in the Academy first to offer the outsourcing. So you could not only be working on your own business, but get help from others and be able to help others in the Academy with their clients as well. Sue says, totally agree with Amanda. The support is awesome. They help give so much confidence and step out there and take that jump. And Chelsea said, I love this group so much. Okay, let's see. Carrie said, what support are in place for Canadian students? How much of the course is relevant to bookkeepers outside of the US? So Carrie, we have a few members in the Academy that are from Canada. So our course will be relevant to you besides a small portion that we talk on US taxes. But you have those other students to lean on in the Academy to answer those tax questions, but everything else will still be very beneficial to you. Leslie said, I'm very new to the Academy and blown away with the helpful information and guidance. I feel like I get answers at lightning speed. It's amazing and I feel so supported. That is awesome. All right, so so you've reached that excuse me, you've reached that 4 months of being in, not even yet, almost 4 months of being in business. So looking into, let's do a 6-month goal. Have you thought about a goal that you guys would like to achieve in the next 2 months?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because, I'm so like the over organized kind of person. And I have like sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm trying to pull this out, but I have a kind of a breakdown of where I want to be at within, a year or in December, and then I broke it down per month. So
Okay.
I would say by July we wanted to be bringing in like $3,700 of recurring revenue. So that's steady growth. If we continue just the steady growth that we are currently at, I guess, and it doesn't change, it doesn't decline at all, which I don't feel like it will, because we really haven't even done marketing. So if I started my marketing, who knows, it could get much faster. By December, if I chose not to onboard any more clients, as long as my growth continues through this year, I have set myself up that in 2022, I would make $100,000 just off of reoccurring without new clients. So as long as I keep hitting my small monthly goals, then, when you think about that, like people like $3,700 a month, that's still not that much. Like it is, but it's not. But it's that setting myself up for that long term is kind of the way we wanted to approach it, and it's working for us. So
yeah, that's awesome. Those are some great goals, and I know that you guys are going to achieve those for sure. So Eileen asked if you had gotten a chance to use the financial statement reviews yet.
So yeah, no, yes, no, I guess. We have the breakouts that are available to us on our Zoom meetings, which I try to make a pretty good point to attend as many of them as I can, because let's be honest, I paid for the academy, so I should get the value of what I paid, right? So I am actually on Eastern time, so it's later for me than it is for other people within the academy, because a lot of them are based off of the Pacific time zone. And so I have had the breakouts where the mentors have looked at like my end review, or my end, this is what I have. Can you look? How's it look? And they'll go through it with you. But I haven't used the official financial statement review where you submit it and have Tiffany go over it, because I do feel like the things she's taught, I can tell that it's pretty spot on for where it needs to be. And pairing with CPAs, I haven't had any complaints from the CPAs, so I don't feel like I'm lacking somewhere there. But I know that it's there, and I know that I'm getting or building to more complex clients that I'm going to need to use that as well. So
awesome. Yeah, so the financial statement reviews are for anyone to use in the academy, and they are where Tiffany, or one of our student mentors, goes into your clients' books and just looks at them to make sure everything is done correctly, gives you any advice or tips if anything needs to be changed. That way you have that extra boost of confidence that you are doing everything correctly and that everything is where it's supposed to be. And that's after you have the unlimited help with your very first client. So as Christina said, there are so many different options to hop on and get support from our team. Yeah, tons of them. All right, so Grant, let's go with, I want you to share. I'm so very thankful that you decided to hop on. I didn't ask Christina until like a couple of hours before the live, so I appreciate that. I know we have lots of husbands on the discovery call. I know you were really supportive, and as Christina said, you were a little bit mad that she didn't present this opportunity to you quicker. So what is your advice that you would give the husbands in the group?
If they're at all apprehensive, I married Christina because, well, not only because, one of the reasons is, she makes good decisions. You know, if she was somebody that didn't research things and didn't make good decisions, I probably would not have decided to marry her. So, I mean, if you're married to somebody, I would hope that you trust their judgment. Um, and if this is something they feel that they can do, as long as you're supportive, they can do whatever they have to make it work.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think that's great advice. And who knew you'd be doing bookkeeping too?
Right.
So, is there anything else that you would like to share from your side of doing this bookkeeping business with your wife?
Not that I'm aware of.
Christina, is there anything you'd like him to share?
Like that's a trap. He says that a lot. I feel like this is a trap. So I think one thing I meant to touch on and I didn't is when we were looking at the cost of the program, I was trying to come up with every way I could to sell it to him, and I really didn't have to ahead of time. And but once I actually invested in it, because I think I was probably more apprehensive about it than he was. I think mine was more so the fear based of what if it doesn't work and I've invested all this money, or what it, who's going to be disappointed in me? Who's going to be waiting to just like point and be like, ha ha, like you failed, and
Right.
so when I first started with the academy program, I think it seems like crazy overwhelming at first, just because you just put a ton of money out and like, okay, I don't have a client yet, and how did I spend this money when I didn't even have something lined up yet? But when I first opened it, and just Tiffany walking you through like setting up your LLC and why she recommends doing it a certain way, like setting up E&O insurance. I never even would have known I needed E&O insurance. Different She does teach different ways of marketing. I was blessed enough not to have to use them yet, but I have that in the arsenal now, and I can, and I know I will at some point. It's not going to just magically grow like forever. So I will eventually have to start some of these like marketing techniques that she's put into this program. And so I feel very confident that when I do start that, I know I'm going to at least pick my momentum right back up. Just the value of like teaching you the business setup, why, like the things that you need to start marketing, the insurance aspect of it, because I've never owned a business before this. I feel like that alone was worth the value. And that wasn't even teaching you to do the bookkeeping, honestly. Like,
And
just
I agree. Once we decided to do this, I didn't have any second doubts, but it was very good when I would come home from work and she would say, "Oh, I've got a website and I've got insurance, and she told me this is what I need to do and this is how to do it." It felt good to me knowing that this wasn't just here's how to bookkeep, good luck. Like this
Right.
was, here's how to start a business, here's how to run a business, here's how to be successful.
one thing Grant had said to me was, even if we took, like, even if you decided bookkeeping wasn't for you and that was it, like, and you just decided you didn't want to do this anymore, you can take what you've purchased from her academy, honestly, and apply it to so many other businesses to like kickstart your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like, obviously a big chunk of it is teaching you the bookkeeping, but I could confidently, like, I had to hire my sister to take over my 2 social media pages, because I just don't have time to sit and deal with it at this point. And like, I don't want to, because I'd rather be out like working on that coaching, making sure my mindset's right, and then I have that confidence going forward. Or networking. I did join the BNI group, so like that's the thing, that's one of the many things she suggests. So I have time invested there where like he doesn't have to do that. I do have that networking, that networking responsibility that I agreed to when I joined BNI. So that's some of my day, that is some of my marketing, not every day, but it's a couple days a week for me, and it's a few hours. So, but I've already, netted a lot from my BNI group, and
And the BNI was one of the things that I was more apprehensive of.
yeah.
I, from what I had seen, it just seemed, I don't know, I just didn't think it would pan out, but we've
Right.
paid for the yearly subscription or membership fee or whatever
Within
and
2
profited
weeks.
off of it. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it. If anybody has any doubt on the BNI, I would say we would recommend it. Now,
As long as you find the right,
yeah,
right? As long as you find the
Yeah.
right,
Right.
network. But she kind of taught you, like, what are you looking for within that, like, those types of things. So there's little things that, yeah, it's not a secret. BNI, like, she's recommended it, she's shared, she's made $60,000. Like, one of the things when I joined BNI, they say, like, what do you hope to get out of it? And they have you fill out this form. And I was like, oh, $25,000. Like, I'd love to make $25,000. And I would have to look, but I believe I met like 8,700 or something from my BNI group. However, my first client also is in that BNI group. So his referrals that he started with do go with that. But there's a CPA in my group, and I paired with her organically just because of that. So like, that was beneficial for me. And so, yeah, so I have a couple marketing things I do, but just him saying, like, we could apply this to any business really for the basics of getting it started. And it would have been something that our local college teaches it, and they charge you for it. So if I would go and pay for it there, like, why would I not? And you don't get anything, but, oh, here's a certificate printed on a piece of paper, because it's not a degree. It's just a local college saying this is the structure of starting and running a business. And is it really personal or in depth, or can you have this mentorship? Heck no.
and they don't like give you the resources to go look and say, we've, on Tiffany's end, I've, used all these different things, and this is the one that I would recommend. Whereas, the community college, they say, yep, you'll need some insurance and you'll need a website. You want to go do some research on that. Whereas with this program, it helps you cut all of that extra work out. So that way you can spend time working on the business instead of researching.
Yeah, BNIs can definitely be great, but you have to make sure they work for you, right? Because some of them, not to be rude, are kind of cliquish, so they don't. Some of them work heavily on referrals, which is kind of what a BNI group is. So you have to make sure that it is going to benefit you and your business, and kind of try out a few different ones. There's generally, I'm from Kansas City, so there's a couple of different BNI groups in our area, but yeah, and like they said, that the courses in the academy don't just set you up to teach you how to do bookkeeping. We walk you through how to run a successful business and how to get insurance and how to do, other things that if by chance bookkeeping didn't work out for you, you would know how to apply it to a different type of business. Chelsea just said that she joined a BNI group tonight.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know which one that is, Chelsea.
And
awesome.
So actually Christina had gone to two
different
to
groups to narrow it down,
find out which one she wanted, and she actually went to the one that's a further distance, so it's more of a time commitment, but I mean, from what we've seen so far, is definitely worth it.
It was the better investment. So yeah, like, it kind of she teaches you within that academy, like, things you're looking for, or you are getting feedback from other people that have done that venture, but it was just kind of crazy to say, like, oh yeah, I'm hoping to get $25,000 in a year from my BNI group, and I'm like at 8,700 or whatever. I would have to look exactly. It's in the 8,000s, but and you're already there. And I'm just like, wow, did I cut myself short? Like, when I was estimating that, but it's these things that you can apply to not just a bookkeeping business, but you could apply it to several businesses, and you kind of so it's not just the value of, oh my gosh, the bookkeeping academy, like, you're getting knowledge that you can apply into so many different areas if you ever chose to do that too.
Right. I agree. I am going to say this person's name and I'm probably going to butcher it. So I apologize. Iobami asked, what is the cost of the program? When can one join? And is it open all year round? So the cost of the Bookkeeper Academy is $8,200. We don't have open enrollment, so you can join at any time. And then, yeah, so the Bookkeeper Academy is a 12-month program. In that program, Christina, feel free to add anything that I forget. In that program, you are going to get a Facebook group that you can post in and get nearly 24/7 help from Tiffany, our student mentors, other members of the group. We have 5 to 6 weekly Zoom calls. On Monday, we do mindset, which are fabulous. We also do a book club that is associated with that. Currently, the book we are reading right now is called Fear is My Homeboy. And I keep hearing everyone talk about it. So that should be getting here via Amazon to my doorstep tomorrow, which I'm really excited to dive into that. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have open office hours Zooms. So those ones are great for when you first join, just getting yourself more acquainted with the bookkeeping analytic terms and just learning more about what a bookkeeper does. And then in those 3 are where you can request your breakout rooms, which are where you get that one-on-one help from our student mentors. On Friday, our wonderful team member Eileen does a sales training. So she has tons of years of experience in sales, and she helps you go out and find ways to get clients, how to talk about how to overcome the hurdles of, when clients object to your services and everything in between. And then on Saturday, we do a back office, all the technology, how to set up your website, those types of questions on Saturdays with our team member, Becca. So those are the Zoom calls. Plus you get unlimited Zooms from our team with your very first client. So you can hop on as many Zoom calls as you would like with our team. And we are going to hold your hand and teach you how to do that client's books and guide you on how to do that. Then you get those financial statement reviews, which we chatted about earlier, which is where we go in and review your client's books that you have. And I think that's, am I missing anything?
I think that's the majority of it, but she'll also throw in like these little, golden nuggets of like the sales tax training tonight, which is now recorded because I was asked to be here. So it was like the first thing was, is that going to be recorded? Because I don't want to miss it and I can go back and replay it. And then you can replay it and replay it. And then she has a library. I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. So if you did,
Oh, you're fine.
I don't mean to be rude if I did, if you already said this, but
I didn't go into the courses yet.
Yeah, she does have a library of resources. So if you're specifically looking for something that may have been on a prior Zoom, you can actually keyword search it and then watch that specific video without having to search through hours and hours of things.
Yeah.
And like she did a yoga Friday morning.
Oh yeah, I forgot about yoga. Yeah.
Throw little special things in there.
Right.
Which are fabulous. Just little treats that, wasn't even a part of it when we invested to begin with, and it's just little things that have been added. So that's also a really good thing. And then and I was going to say, Tiffany keeps talking about how you have that unlimited breakout with your first client, and so I wanted to kind of tell too. So I have 11. I have a proposal going out. Well, I'll type it up tonight and schedule it to go out tomorrow. And then I have a Zoom or Teams meeting with my CPA to try to bring someone on Thursday. Awesome. And I have another discovery call booked for next Wednesday. And as in next week. And so I already have stuff on the books that could be unfolding to grow my business. And I haven't even used my unlimited one-on-one breakout for my first client. You don't have to use it for your first client. Yes. So I felt like my first client was like going to be easy breezy. It's a micro business. It should be really easy. And it was probably one of the worst cleanups I've had. and not because I was new, just because it was really bad. And I still didn't use my one-on-one because most of my questions I really could get, not most, but all my questions were able to be answered in those office meeting, like Zoom calls, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And so my questions weren't so compounded that I had to spend a lot of one-on-one time. And so I've been trying to, like, I'm 4 months in and I'm still like hoarding that unlimited one-on-one, because my goal would be to get a really complex client that maybe has, like just a lot going on, that I want that unlimited breakout for somebody super complex. So I sort of like hoarded it and saved it
Yeah.
and haven't even used it. So I have 11 clients and haven't even used my unlimited one-on-ones.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I do say for your first client, but it doesn't have to be for your first client. Like Christina said, your first client could be someone that you can get your questions answered on those open office hours, or that you can post in the group. So it does not have to be your very first client. So thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, and then you also get the courses that we offer. You get a quoting tool that's great with making sure that you are quoting your services to make sure that you're getting paid for what you're worth. And I saw someone's comment the other day. It's I'll put it in a post. I don't remember when I scheduled it to post, but it was like, I didn't realize how much I was underquoting myself until I had joined the academy and heard everyone else and what they were quoting, and then utilize the quoting tool. And then we do put together that one program to rule them all, which is your website, you have the library of resources, which is all of our Zoom calls that we have ever done since being in business. They are transcribed and searchable. And yeah, all of those great things, plus all of the support in the academy that you receive. Abby says, thank you both for sharing your story and insight. I signed up last month and have been working on getting the back office set up. I am a teacher and have no experience. I am looking forward to see where this goes. My husband listened with me tonight so he can get a better idea of the academy. Oh, awesome. We love when the husbands join on. Yeah, and a new thing that we just started, I think we started rolling them out last week, is we started doing orientation calls. So if you join the academy, you are going to be put directly in contact with Megan Davis, who is our lead student mentor. And she is going to hop on a Zoom call with you and walk you through how to find everything in the Facebook group, and how to find all of your courses, and how to utilize everything that we have put into place for you. So those are really handy. So if you've joined over the last few days, I know Tiffany said last week that we have sent those emails out. So please comment or reach out to us if you by chance have not gotten an email. And then we've also started doing midterm check-ins. So you will soon be ready for yours, Christina. So we are now checking in with every 6 months with our members of the academy, just to see where they're at, what they need help on, and just to get a better idea of that. Willow says, such an inspiring story, Christina. Seeing successful people in the group helps me to stay focused and keep my eyes on the prize, even when I get overwhelmed trying. Oh, I just lost my place. Trying to get my business started and working full time with a 3-year-old. That is awesome, Willow. And then, so Ayobi said, what is a BNI group? So that one is a referral type of group. Christina, do you want to kind of share more about what your BNI looks like?
Sure. It's a business networking international group. So it's an international like networking type of thing. Things like there's a course that Tiffany goes over about marketing. So obviously I don't want to ruin too much of her content. But there's definitely some things to look for within your group. Essentially, I go every Tuesday morning. So Tuesdays are probably some of my busier days that I don't get a lot of office work done, because I go to my BNI group. It's once a week, and they meet, and any of the members, they kind of share what their business is, what they're looking for. So within my group, I have a life insurance guy, I have an investments guy in there, we have a CPA, obviously me as a bookkeeper, my first client who's a photographer is in there. We have a realtor. So definitely different businesses that are all within it. And I kind of, because, I try to simple things down a little bit. I equate it to like a fraternity. You actually pay for membership, and then you're a part of the group. And then with that membership, you want to look at what would be my rate of investment. So, how much can these other group members refer me? And you are kind of educating them in short blurbs about your business and what you need, or hey, if you're dealing with clients. So I'm trying to create like a power referral team right now between me, the CPA that we have, and our investments guy. Because if she has people whose books are a mess, she can send them to me. If I have people who have clean books, but maybe they aren't properly put under the correct tax category. And I know that by switching some of their tax structure around, they could save more money or keep or retain more of their money into their business. I'll refer them off to her. And then if she gets them converted over and their business grows and they still have more income than what they were forecasted to have, which would be a terrible thing to have to deal with, but you don't still want those penalties. So then I try to convince my client to maybe get in the seat of my investments guy who's within my BNI group, because he can do maybe a SEP account for the business. So an investment that is done from the business that then it's not making you have to pay so much tax for a client. And so just having their little bits of knowledge that they feed to me of like, when your client gets to this point, have them start selling them on this, or, educating them, not necessarily selling them, but educate them. One of my clients, my second client, who has her own business and her husband has three, they are making a good living, a great living, but they are still LLCs for every single one of their businesses. So they are paying that self-employment tax. And to me, it is wild and crazy that they are even still like that no one has caught it to help get them to a CPA and change them from sole proprietors and LLCs. She's a sole proprietor. He has an LLC on all three, to where they could have maybe incorporated as an S corp. So it's like that education. They give you a little bit of their business to educate you as to this is when it's beneficial. And then you're doing the same with them. So it's beneficial to me. Like if you have, and you're telling these people who know nothing about bookkeeping, when or what to look for to find you clients. So they're literally like your sales team going out there. But it's the thing that Tiffany teaches on is like some of the important things to look for when you're considering a BNI group, or like what the actual time investment is, because you do have to foster and build these relationships with the other business owners so that then they trust you to refer their friends and family to you. So it's definitely like something that she teaches more on, and that's kind of the short synopsis of it. But within a BNI group, you can only, so like I say like a fraternity, because you buy into it and then you buy your membership for the year, but they will only have one person within every business that holds a seat. So no other bookkeepers can join my BNI group. So they would have to go find another BNI group. Because we have a realtor, no other realtors can come in. Now she does residential. So if we had a commercial realtor, they could come in, but they can only sell or receive referrals for commercial real estate. So like, it's like you are buying your seat, which is that like division of your business. So then you're not competing amongst your group.
Yeah, so like Christina said, it is one person per each type of business, and everyone's kind of working for you. You're referring people to other people's businesses, and they're referring people to your business. So they can be very beneficial when you find the one that is perfect match for you. So I hope that answers everyone's questions about the Academy and what it entails. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them below. I will also put the link to book a discovery call with our team. Christina and Grant, do you guys have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for those that maybe are on the fence about the Academy, or just anything else that you would like to share?
I would say, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would invest, 3 times probably what I invested to know that I had this capability, like to see that, um, you know, within a year, not, I mean, we're already getting income from it, but within a year, we're going to be more or better off than we were before I left the police department is wild to me for since I was in policing for 11 years, that within a year I could be making more than I was making. And I was working an average of generally 70 hours a week to make not even as much as I can make next year if my growth continues at the rate it is. So like I would absolutely make that investment again, and just to really consider like your rate of investment. Like I do feel that it doesn't magically work for, everybody at the same rate, but as long as you're committed and you put that effort into it, it will work. It will work. And it's like not a scam, which I was actually really afraid of too. So I know like I've seen that question, like, is this a scam? Is this fraud? Like, no, like they're literally giving you a lot of value for what you have. And I would encourage anyone who's just really on the fence just to do it, because if you keep putting it off, you might never invest in yourself. And just to try not to listen to those fear monsters inside you, because that's what I almost did. And then we kind of wanted to toast a glass of wine to Tiffany, because she really has just changed our lives. Like we know that in the future we might not be exactly where we want to be at today, which would be traveling around or investing in property and being able to just vacation whenever we want, but we're getting there and we do see that in the future. So we wanted to say thank you to Tiffany and good luck to everybody else too.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and to share your story and what the Academy has been like for you. And Grant, I appreciate you coming in and giving a spouse's side to joining the Academy. It's been very awesome to have you both. I think you have inspired several people, and I can't wait to see where you guys are at in 6 months and obviously in a year. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If anyone else is watching and has questions for Christina and Grant, please feel free to drop them below and they will get them answered. And yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome. Thank you for joining.